Cars, roads, and high speed, all of these are things we interact with every single day, and most of the time everything goes just fine. But in these real cases, one moment on an ordinary road turned into something nobody could take back. Here are 15 of the most disturbing cases where fame, talent, and a whole future ahead of someone meant absolutely nothing the moment things went wrong. And things only keep getting worse. Number 1. James Dean. This is James Dean. At just 24 years old, he is already one of the most talked about young actors on the planet. He has starred in East of Eden and just finished filming Giant, a movie not even released yet. He is restless, talented, and deeply in love with fast cars. He named his silver Porsche 550 Spyder Little Bastard. That alone tells you everything you need to know about him. It's the afternoon of September 30th, 1955. Dean is behind the wheel on California Route 46, heading toward a race event in Salinas. The sky is clear. The road is straight. Earlier that same day, a police officer had already pulled him over for speeding, and yet here he is, pushing it again. Near the small town of Cholami, a 23-year-old college student named Donald Turnipseed is driving a Ford Tudor in the opposite direction. He begins turning left across Dean's lane, at highway speed, with no warning and no time. As the Spyder hits the Ford head-on, Dean is thrown violently by the impact. His passenger, mechanic Rolf Wutherick, is launched clear of the car and survives with serious injuries. Turnipseed walks away with minor wounds. Dean does not walk away. He is rushed to Paso Robles War Memorial Hospital. Doctors confirm what the crash has already decided. James Dean is pronounced dead that evening from a broken neck and multiple severe injuries. He is 24 years old. 2 weeks later, and Rebel Without a Cause opens in theaters. A whole generation is still falling in love with him when the road takes him away. The films keep releasing. The legend keeps growing. But the man behind it is already gone. Number 2. Isadora Duncan. Isadora Duncan built the foundation of modern dance almost entirely from scratch. Born in San Francisco in 1877, she spends decades in Europe rewriting what dance could even look like. Bare feet, flowing fabric, pure raw emotion. By 1927, she is 50 years old and still performing. She is fearless in her art and reckless in her life, and audiences across the world love her for both. It's the evening of September 14th, 1927, in Nice, France. Duncan gets into an open-top Amilcar sports car driven by a mechanic named Benoit Falchetto. She is wearing a long, hand-painted silk scarf, loose, trailing, draped around her neck. A gift from a close friend. Before climbing in, she calls out to the people watching her. "Farewell, my friends. I go to glory." Falchetto starts the engine and pulls away from the curb. The scarf, long and loose and hanging over the side of the open car, catches in the spokes of the rear wheel. The silk winds around the axle in an instant. It goes completely taut. And then it pulls. Duncan is yanked backward over the side of the car with violent force. Her head slams into the rear wheel and then into the cobblestone street. Falchetto feels the resistance and stops within seconds. But those seconds are already too many. She had survived poverty. She had lost both of her children to a separate car accident years before this. She had outlasted tragedy after tragedy across her entire life. In the end, it is one loose scarf and one moment of not noticing that the road makes permanent. She is dead at the scene. She never gets back up. Number 3. Jackson Pollock. By the summer of 1956, Jackson Pollock is the most famous painter in America. Time magazine calls him Jack the Dripper. Museums hang his work. Critics argue about his genius in every major publication. He is 44 years old, and none of it seems to make him happy. Pollock has stopped painting entirely. He is drinking every single day. His marriage to fellow artist Lee Krasner has fallen apart under the weight of his alcoholism. She has left for Europe. Pollock spends his days at local bars in East Hampton, New York, getting angrier, getting darker, getting more out of control by the week. It's the night of August 11th, 1956. Pollock gets into his Oldsmobile 88 convertible with two women, his mistress Ruth Kligman and her friend Edith Metzger. He has been drinking all day. Metzger wants to go to a party. Pollock does not want to go. He drives anyway. Then he turns the car around. Then he steps on the gas harder. Metzger starts screaming at him to stop. He ignores her. Yet he accelerates down Springs Fireplace Road toward his own home, less than a mile away. The road curves. The Oldsmobile does not. The car slides off the road into the trees, rolls, and comes apart. Pollock is thrown from the vehicle and hits a tree. Edith Metzger is also killed. Ruth Kligman is thrown clear and survives. Police find Pollock dead at the scene. A blood test confirms he is severely intoxicated. The man who changed art forever kills himself. And another person, in a rage on a dark road, barely a minute from his own front door. Edith Metzger had just wanted to go to a party. She never gets there. Number 4. Eddie Cochran. At just 21 years old, Eddie Cochran is one of the brightest stars in early rock and roll. Summertime Blues. Come on, everybody. 20 Flight Rock. His songs are raw, loud, and made for teenagers. He is self-taught and years ahead of his time. Future Beatles are copying his songs in Liverpool right now. British kids absolutely adore him. In the spring of 1960, Cochran has been on a sold-out tour of England, a tour already extended 10 weeks past its original end date, because the crowds simply will not stop coming. It's the night of April 16th, 1960. The final concert is done. Cochran gets into a Ford Consul taxi outside Bristol with his tour partner Gene Vincent and his fiancée, songwriter Sharon Sheeley, and they are heading to Heathrow Airport. A flight home. A whole life waiting on the other side of the ocean. The night is dark. The road through Chippenham is narrow. The driver is 19 years old and going too fast. A tire blows out. The driver loses control. The taxi smashes into a concrete lamppost on Rowden Hill. In the fraction of a second before impact, Cochran throws himself across Sheeley to shield her with his body. The door flies open. He is hurled out of the car. Yet he is found on the road with severe head injuries. He is taken to St. Martin's Hospital in Bath. He never regains consciousness. At 4:10 p.m. on Easter Sunday, April 17, 1960, Eddie Cochran is gone. He is 21 years old. Sheeley survives with a broken back. Vincent survives with lasting leg damage. The teenage driver is convicted of dangerous driving. And Cochran's last act, in the very last second he had, was to put his body between someone he loved and the thing that was coming for them both. Number 5. Albert Camus. Albert Camus wins the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1957. At 46 years old, he is one of the most respected writers alive, the second youngest person in history to receive the prize. His novels The Stranger and The Plague are read all over the world. His entire philosophy centers on one idea he calls the absurd, the belief that the universe is completely indifferent to human beings and their suffering. He once reportedly said that dying in a car accident would be the most absurd death he could ever imagine. It's January 4th, 1960. Camus is riding back to Paris from a holiday in Provence with his friend and publisher Michel Gallimard. Gallimard's wife and teenage daughter are in the back. Camus had originally planned to take the train with his family. At the last moment, he accepts Gallimard's offer of a ride. His unused train ticket is later found in his coat pocket after the crash. As they are driving on a completely straight, completely dry stretch of road near the town of Villeblevin, about 65 miles south of Paris. No ice, no sharp curves, no other cars, no recorded speed violation, nothing that should cause anything to go wrong. Investigators will never find a cause. The Facel Vega suddenly leaves the road and hits a plane tree, then a second tree. The car folds completely on impact. Camus in the front passenger seat is killed instantly. Gallimard dies from his injuries 5 days later. The two women in the back survive. On the manuscript found in the wreckage was a handwritten title, The First Man. He never finished it. The philosopher who spent his entire career writing about how meaningless death is, meets one of the most meaningless deaths in modern history. On a clear road, on a calm day, for no reason anyone ever finds. Number 6. General George S. Patton. General George S. Patton survives 2 world wars. He leads armies across North Africa, Sicily, and France. He punches through at Bastogne. Enemy generals study him. American soldiers follow him into fire. He is 60 years old and completely unbreakable. By December 1945, the war is over. Patton is serving as military governor of Bavaria, restless, bored, and just days away from flying home to California for Christmas. It's the morning of December 9th, 1945. Patton is in the back seat of his 1938 Cadillac staff car outside Mannheim, Germany. And his regular driver is in the hospital. A young substitute, Private Horace Woodring, is at the wheel. They are heading out for a pheasant hunt. As they drive, Patton looks out at the burned-out vehicles along the road. War wreckage, still sitting where it fell. "How awful war is," he says quietly. "Think of the waste." Seconds later, a U.S. Army supply truck in the opposite lane turns left directly into their path. Woodring has no time. The collision is low speed. Just everyone else barely gets a scratch. But the force throws Patton hard into the glass partition between the seats. His neck breaks. He is paralyzed from the shoulders down. He is rushed to the Army hospital in Heidelberg. Doctors arrive from across Europe and America. None of them can fix what one low-speed collision destroys in less than a second. He fights for 12 days. On December 21st, 1945, the shortest, darkest day of the year, a blood clot reaches his heart and stops it. The man who survived 2 world wars and decades of combat dies because a truck turned left on a quiet December morning. He is buried on Christmas Eve among the soldiers of his Third Army in Luxembourg. He had asked to rest beside his men. Number 7. Jayne Mansfield. At 34 years old, Jayne Mansfield is still working and completely impossible to ignore. A Golden Globe winner, one of the most photographed women of 1950s America. She has appeared in dozens of films and performed on nightclub stages across the country. She is loud, vibrant, and full of life in every room she enters. It's the early morning hours of June 29, 1967. Mansfield is in the back seat of a 1966 Buick Electra heading east on U.S. Highway 90 near Slidell, in Louisiana, on her way to New Orleans for a television appearance. 3 of her young children are asleep in the back seat with her. One of those children is a little girl named Mariska, who will grow up to become actress Mariska Hargitay. Ahead of them on the highway, a mosquito control truck is spraying insecticide along the road. The chemical fog drifts back across the lane and cuts visibility to almost nothing. The driver does not slow down. The Buick drives straight into the cloud. He's straight into the rear of a tractor trailer that has slowed down ahead. The car goes almost completely underneath the trailer. The roof is sheared completely off. Mansfield and both adults in the front seat are killed instantly. All 3 of them are gone before the sound of the crash stops echoing. In the back seat, all 3 children survive. They are found injured among the wreckage, shaken, bleeding, but alive. In the years that follow, the U.S. Landal government requires all large trucks to be fitted with rear underride guards, metal barriers designed to stop exactly this kind of accident. Those metal bars are still called Mansfield bars to this day. One fog-blinded moment on a dark Louisiana highway. 3 lives gone. Rules written in their memory. Number 8. Marc Bolan. Marc Bolan is one of the defining voices of British glam rock. As the frontman of T-Rex, he produces hit after hit in the UK. Bang a Gong, Jeepster, Get It On. Yet he turns himself into a teen idol wrapped in glitter and velvet. By 1977, after a career dip in the mid-70s, he is genuinely coming back. A new television show, new music, real momentum building again. He is 29 years old and doing everything right. It's the night of September 16th, 1977. Bolan is a passenger in a purple Mini 1275 GT being driven by his girlfriend, American singer Gloria Jones. They are heading home to Barnes in southwest London after a night out. The streets are quiet, and the sky is still completely dark. Jones is driving on Gypsy Lane. The road curves near a small bridge over a railway line. The Mini does not make the curve. It hits a metal safety barrier, goes straight through it, and slams into a large sycamore tree at the side of the road with full force. Jones survives with a broken jaw and broken arm. Bolan, in the passenger seat, dies on impact. He is 29 years old. In exactly 2 weeks, he would have turned 30. Marc Bolan never learned to drive in his entire life. He was always the passenger. He had no control over where the car went. He placed that trust in someone else, on a road that did not forgive the smallest mistake at the wrong moment. The sycamore tree in Barnes still stands. Fans still leave flowers there every year. Number 9. Princess Grace Kelly. Grace Kelly lives 2 extraordinary lives. The first as an Academy Award-winning Hollywood actress, Dial M for Murder, Rear Window, Shatters the Country Girl. The second as Princess Grace of Monaco after marrying Prince Rainier III in 1956. She leaves acting at the very height of her fame, trades the film set for a palace, and builds a whole new life as royalty. It's the afternoon of September 13th, 1982. Grace is 52 years old. She is driving her Rover 3500 down the steep mountain road between Rock Aigle and Monaco with her daughter Princess Stephanie beside her. The road drops sharply through tight switchbacks toward the sea below. Grace knows this road well. She has driven it many times before. Witnesses watching from below see the car behaving strangely, not slowing for the curves, drifting wider and wider toward the very edge of the road. Grace suffers a stroke at the wheel. Her body goes rigid. Her foot may press harder on the accelerator. The car stops responding to anything. The Rover breaks through a guardrail and falls nearly 120 feet down the cliff below. Yes, it rolls several times before coming to rest in the brush at the bottom. Stephanie survives with minor injuries. Grace is pulled from the wreckage alive, but her brain damage is severe and completely beyond treatment. On September 14, 1982, Princess Grace Kelly is declared brain dead and removed from life support. The woman who conquered Hollywood, married a prince, and gave up everything for a different kind of life dies on a mountain road she knew well on an ordinary afternoon, because her own body failed her without a single second of warning. Not a mistake, not recklessness, just a body that stopped working at exactly the wrong moment. Number 10. Sam Kinison. Sam Kinison makes his name as the loudest, most outrageous stand-up comedian in America. A former preacher who finds a second life screaming and raging on stage, he builds his career on chaos and raw energy. For years, his life is consumed by alcohol and cocaine, but by early 1992, he turns it around completely. He gets sober. And on April 4th, just 6 days before he dies, he gets married. It's the evening of April 10th, 1992. Kinison is 38 years old. He is behind the wheel of his Pontiac Turbo Trans Am on Needles Highway, northwest of Needles, California. His new wife, Malika, is in the passenger seat. He is heading to Laughlin, Nevada, for a sold-out performance. His brother and friends follow in a separate car behind him. A Chevrolet pickup truck comes at them from the opposite direction. Here, the truck crosses the double yellow center line, the driver trying to pass another vehicle, and drives hard directly into Kinison's lane. Kinison sees it coming. He brakes. He manages to slow to around 15 miles per hour before the truck hits the Trans Am head-on. The impact is violent. Malika is knocked unconscious. Kinison is thrown forward into the windshield. He is not wearing a seatbelt. His friend Carl Lebove, following behind, runs to him immediately. Kinison is on the road, conscious, but with only small cuts, visible on the outside, but the internal damage is catastrophic. For a few minutes he is still speaking. Quietly, he says, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Then, after a pause, as if answering someone no one else can hear, he says simply, "Okay, okay, okay." Those are his last words. Sam Kinison, sober, newly married, 5 days into a completely new chapter of his life, is gone. The driver of the truck is a 17-year-old. His cab is filled with beer cans. Yet he pleads guilty to vehicular manslaughter and receives probation. Number 11. Princess Diana. At 36 years old, Princess Diana is the most photographed woman on Earth. Her marriage to Prince Charles is over. She has stepped back from royal life, but the cameras never stop following her. Paparazzi track her across continents to hospitals, beaches, and private dinners. Her every single movement is hunted down. It's the night of August 31st, 1997. As Diana leaves the Ritz Hotel in Paris with her companion Dodi Fayed, trying to get to their destination without the photographers waiting outside. Their driver, Henri Paul, takes an alternate route through the city. Investigators later find alcohol and prescription drugs in his system. He is not the couple's regular driver. At 12:23 a.m., the Mercedes S280 enters the Pont de l'Alma tunnel at high speed. Paparazzi on motorcycles are closing in from behind. Inside the tunnel, Henri Paul loses control. The car clips a white Fiat, swerves hard, and slams into the concrete pillar at the tunnel's 13th support column. The crash is massive. The engine is pushed backward. The car spins into the wall. Dodi Fayed is killed instantly. Henri Paul is killed instantly. Diana is alive, but her injuries are catastrophic. A torn heart, a ruptured pulmonary vein, massive internal bleeding. Bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones in the front seat survives, but paramedics work at the scene for 40 minutes before moving her. Surgeons operate for 2 hours. They cannot stop the bleeding. At 4 a.m. on August 31st, 1997, Diana, Princess of Wales, is declared dead. The world mourns for weeks. Flowers outside Kensington Palace pile up until they cover acres. She was 36 years old. She was running from cameras on a night that was supposed to be ordinary. The tunnel did not let her out. Number 12. Lisa Left Eye Lopes TLC sells over 20 million albums. As Lisa Lopes, known as Left Eye, is one of the main reasons why. She is a Grammy-nominated artist and one of the most recognized names in music. But in early 2002, she travels to Honduras alone on a personal journey. A spiritual search. A chance to document her life and her thoughts on camera. She is filming everything. She is 30 years old. It's the afternoon of April 25th, 2002. Lopes is behind the wheel of an SUV on a rural road near the town of La Ceiba, Honduras. She is heading back to the village where she has been staying. 7 other people are in the vehicle with her. The road is narrow, uneven. The SUV hits a bump at speed. Lopes loses control. The vehicle veers hard off the road and rolls. It comes to rest off the side of the highway. Lisa Lopes is the only one killed. 4 others are seriously injured. 3 walk away. She is found outside the vehicle, thrown during the roll. Her injuries are unsurvivable. Shed in an eerie detail that nobody who heard it ever forgot. Just days before her death, Lopes had filmed herself inside that same SUV on that same road, speaking directly into the camera about life, about death, and about what it means to leave something behind. The cameras captured everything except what came next. She was 30 years old. TLC never truly recovered from losing her. Number 13. Ryan Dunn. Ryan Dunn spends his entire career doing things that should have killed him. Yet as a cast member of MTV's Jackass franchise, he gets hit, burned, launched, and broken on camera for over a decade, and walks away laughing every single time. Fans adore his fearlessness. His friends consider him basically indestructible. He is 34 years old and has every reason to believe tonight is just another night. It's the early morning hours of June 20th, 2011. Dunn is behind the wheel of his Porsche 911 GT3 on Route 322 in Chester County, Pennsylvania. Yet his passenger is 30-year-old Zachary Hartwell, a film producer. They have been at a local bar earlier that night. A blood alcohol test conducted after the crash finds Dunn's BAC is nearly double the legal limit. Beyond that, investigators determine the Porsche is traveling at approximately 130 miles per hour in a 55 miles per hour zone. On a curve in the road, the Porsche leaves the pavement. It becomes airborne. It hits the trees and catches fire immediately. The car burns so intensely that it takes investigators hours to identify both men by their remains. Ryan Dunn, who spent years performing carefully calculated acts of dangerous stunts in front of cameras, dies on a dark back road in Pennsylvania at twice the legal limit and more than twice the speed the road allows. No cameras, no safety crew, no second takes. Zachary Hartwell was just the passenger. He trusted the driver. He is gone too. Both of them. And before anyone even knows to call for help. Number 14. Paul Walker. At 40 years old, Paul Walker is at the very peak of his fame. The Fast and Furious franchise has made him a global icon. In real life, he loves cars just as deeply as any character he ever played. He co-owns a racing team. He knows Porsches. He knows speed better than most people on Earth. It's the afternoon of November 30th, 2013. Walker and his friend Roger Rodas, a professional racing driver, leave a charity event together in Valencia, California. The event is a fundraiser for victims of Typhoon Haiyan. They get into Rodas's Porsche Carrera GT for a short drive. Just a quick run. Back soon. The Porsche Carrera GT is known as one of the most demanding production cars ever built. It requires exceptional skill even at low speeds and is considered unpredictable when pushed hard. The tires on this particular car are later found to be 7 years old, well past their safe limit for a vehicle capable of over 200 miles per hour. Investigators later determined the car is traveling between 80 and 93 miles per hour in a 45 miles per hour zone when Rodas loses control. The Porsche leaves the road, strikes a concrete light pole, then slams into two trees. It catches fire immediately. Neither Walker nor Rodas has any chance of getting out. Both are killed. But when news breaks that Paul Walker has died in a car crash, the world stops. Not from shock alone, but from the particular cruelty of how it happened. The actor who spent his entire career making audiences fall in love with fast cars is killed by one. Furious 7 was still in production when he died. The studio pauses everything. When the film finally releases in 2015, it ends with a tribute, Walker's character driving off into the distance alone, at the camera watching until the road turns, and he is simply gone. Number 15. Hank Williams. This is a picture of Hank Williams. He is 29 years old and the most important country music artist alive. Your cheatin' heart. I'm so lonesome I could cry. Lovesick blues. His voice carries something raw and real that no one else can replicate. Fans across America feel like he is speaking directly to them, because he is. But Williams is also sick. His spine is deteriorating from a birth defect. Yet he has been drinking heavily for years, mixing alcohol with whatever medication he can get just to manage the pain. By late 1952, everyone around him can see he is running out of time. It's New Year's Eve, 1952. Williams is bundled up in the back seat of his powder blue Cadillac, being driven by Charles Carr, a 17-year-old college student hired to get him to his next show in Canton, Ohio. The roads are icy. The weather is brutal. At a stop in Oak Hill, West Virginia in the early morning hours, someone looks into the back seat. Williams is completely still. He is not breathing. He has been dead for hours. No one in the car knew. The exact time of death is never determined. A doctor in Knoxville had injected him with morphine and vitamin B12 earlier that night. The official cause is listed as heart failure. The alcohol, the medications, and a body pushed past every limit it had. Hank Williams is 29 years old. He never makes it to the show. He never sees 1953. No concert, no final bow. Just a backseat in West Virginia on the first night of a new year.
and a silence that nobody notices until it is far, far too late.
15 cases. 15 real people. 15 roads that did not care who was behind the wheel. Some moved too fast. Some trusted the wrong person to drive. Some had no warning at all, no moment of choice, no chance to do anything differently. A straight road in France. A Paris tunnel. A Louisiana highway wrapped in chemical fog. A cold back seat in West Virginia where nobody checked until morning. The road does not separate the famous from the forgotten. It does not stop for talent, or wealth, or a crowd still waiting somewhere back home. Every single one of these people had somewhere to be. None of them got there.